Like that, because every Filipino gets named like Maria.
Cinderella.
Maria. Everything's Maria.
Maria Teresa. Always like 3 names.
But do you have the thing with the Filipinos, which is if you make a mistake of playing with something as a little child, that's what you get nicknamed for the rest of your life? Like my cousin, she's a doctor of nursing. She made the mistake when she was 3 of putting on a pair of boots.
Yeah.
She's been Boots
No.
the rest of her life.
Her whole life.
Her nickname is Boots.
What's your nickname?
You know what? I got lucky because I was the youngest. They just called me Robbie.
Oh.
Yeah, that was it. That's all I got.
But usually they double it up. So it's not just Boots. It's Boots.
Yeah, they do double it up.
Everything's double
Boots.
there. Yeah.
Or they like my mom was the baby of the family.
Yeah.
So they called her Babs.
Babe. Yeah. Tita Babe.
Yeah, Tita Babes.
Yeah.
And the kids couldn't say Tita.
Yeah.
When they're little, they say Bita. Like my daughter, she can't say Miranda. She says Biranda. And so they call her Bita Babes. And she doesn't like to be called grandma,
cute.
my grandma. She's 90. She's a great grandmother.
Is it the white side or the Filipino side?
It's the dark side. The dark side.
The good side.
The dark
It's
side.
the good side.
It's the good side.
Yeah.
It is the good side. It's it's the side that I saw a lot of homeless people under the bridge, and not one of them was Asian.
Right.
Not one.
Yeah.
You don't see homeless people. You don't see homeless Asian people.
And when
in
you
America.
do, your heart breaks.
yeah,
Doesn't
when
it?
when you do, you're in Hawaii.
Yeah. right. And you want to somehow like talk to them and connect.
Like, dude, what
happened?
How did you? What happened?
Yeah.
You're Asian, buddy. How did you?
No.
Well, I think it's because the parents, as you know, they don't. They're not surprised that you did good. You don't get rewarded for that. It's expected.
Yeah. And also in Hawaii, you don't feel bad for homeless people because of the fact
Well,
that
they're in Hawaii.
Yeah. right.
You're in Hawaii.
But it's like, hey, can I spare some change? I go, why? Because I'm hungry. Well, there's a banana right there. Like, there's food all around them, right? Like
There's an ocean.
Yeah,
There's an
sushi's
ocean.
free.
That was the thing that was so surprising about the famine in Ireland, was that because all they knew how to do is get the potatoes. If they took the potatoes away, there's nothing for us to eat. We're gonna starve. It's like, you're on a fucking island, surrounded by oysters and fish.
Yeah.
Get a log and go out and catch something. Don't starve. They're killing us all. They've taken our potatoes. We're a hopeless lot now. No, you're not.
Yeah.
That's my dad's greatest gift.
Rob, we haven't even started. So let me just start.
Are we rolling?
We are rolling. Okay. We're going to keep all that. We're going to open that way, Rob.
We'll talk about my dad, my white dad.
I want to talk about your dad, but let me open the show the way we do it.
Oh, sorry.
And I want to. I have an old intro that I have for you.
I love it.
I like to be personable.
Yeah.
Personable.
Yeah.
And I really do just love you.
Thank you.
And
Sweet.
I'd like to say, let's do the countdown real quick, but I want all that shit in.
Yeah, it's all in. It's in, Captain.
You know what I like about it? It's colloquial. Didn't seem forced. We were just talking. That's what people want. You got to give it to them. Don't hold it back.
God, he's so good. What, George? He's funnier than me? Is that what it is?
Oh, God.
No.
He is. He
Bobby,
is, George.
Nobody commits more than you.
Yeah.
Nobody.
George is the best.
I can't follow you, honestly, because I just go, you're
Rob,
funnier
you're
than me.
acting fucking ridiculous right now.
No,
Can I just-
you are.
Yeah.
No,
Let me do the show. You and Coy, the same. You and Joe Coy, the same. Let me just say something, okay? Let me do the thing, all right? So do the countdown, friend.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Welcome
1.
to the... Yeah? I do what I want.
Yeah, man.
Yeah? Welcome, TigerBelly. I'm your captain. I'm the best. I'm your leader. Mm-hmm. You do what I say, okay? Don't kill. Be nice. Be nice to all. It's about energy, exchanging energy. I'm your captain, Captain Bobby Lee. Okay? We got flat face island dweller.
What's up?
Gilbert.
Hey, Gilbert.
Two-dimensional. Look at that face. Two-dimensional.
Beautiful.
It is a beautiful flat face, is it not?
No. He's a handsome Filipino.
All right.
He's a handsome, not just Filipino, any man.
You know...
Don't let me segment this. You got a shitload of hair, and you're going to keep it. That's the thing, I go like, you're gonna keep that. It's gonna get gray and it's still gonna be cool.
Yeah.
You're gonna have like waves of like, you're attractive and then the slightly less attractive.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be older, slightly attractive again in your 40s. Then it's gonna dip, and then your 60s you'll have a little bit of a run. Then you'll drop dead. Or actually, you're Filipino. You live to be 100.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what you hear. You know what you never hear? You hear of the. You know what you never hear?
Yeah.
What do I never hear?
You never hear.
Tito Robbie. What do I never hear?
Whoa!
Hey.
He's Tito Robbie already?
He's already Tito Robbie.
The 7-foot basketball player turned 100 today. You don't hear that.
No, never.
But you know you do hear?
What?
My Lolo, he turned 100 today. He lives on the Big Island.
No, why?
He's 100. You know he's Filipino, but he's also Portuguese. His name's Padring.
And he's homeless.
And he's
Homeless.
But he eats
So anyway,
oysters.
Rob, you fucknut. Don't do the countdown again, but let's start from where we left off.
Yeah.
Don't do the countdown again.
Okay. Same energy.
But it's me then. It's up to me now. I'll take over, I guess.
I'll pretend like I ended it.
Yeah. Good job. Welcome to the thing, right? This fat fuck. I'm sorry, my bad. This guy right here, dude. I love this guy whenever he shows up.
Yeah.
So whenever I see him, sometimes I don't even think he's real.
That's true.
He's got an abominable vibe.
When you work other places, do you say, which direction's the closet? You must get that a lot, right? Because you're in a closet.
Yeah. What he said was very funny. I don't know why you're laughing.
He's so nervous.
Fucking laugh right now. Okay, what he said. This is A-list right here, dude. This is SNL shit, dude.
He's our
laugh
intern,
it
Rob.
out.
He's our intern.
He's our intern.
All right.
You're fucking
Nice
it
to
up,
see
dude. Laugh it up. What he just said. Say it again.
Hey, when you do other podcasts and other studio work, do you say, excuse me, guys, which way's the closet?
So
That's
much
what I
pain.
want every
Good job,
fucking time.
Chris.
Thank you so
Good
much,
job.
Chris.
I know.
That's really
you know,
nice.
It's true though with the right delivery. You know, it's like it's stand-up delivery.
I don't know what you're doing because we're not there yet.
He's a whole set ready, man.
Robbie, we're not there yet. Okay. So we also have other people in the room I'd like to introduce. We have George, my producer.
Hi, George.
And we couldn't get anything done without you. I really appreciate it. All the hard work.
Awesome.
Okay, we already did that. We got my beautiful
We already did that.
did that, but we got my beautiful girlfriend Khalyla, and
Thank
then
you.
so now what we
Khalyla,
got.
life improver.
Thank you.
Good branding.
That's a great
branding.
brand.
Really great brand.
There's life coaches, then there's life improvers.
Yeah, I know what they are, and I know the difference.
Okay,
There we go.
get with your intro.
All
You're
right,
not moving fast enough.
I'm moving. I like moving the pace than what I'm doing. It's
Okay,
fine.
yeah.
Everything's fine. Now listen.
Yes, sir.
When I got into comedy, there wasn't a lot of people that you could say, because there's not a lot of influencers out there. There was like, in terms of Asian stuff, you had Margaret Cho,
Yeah.
but then we had you, and when I remember growing up watching you when you were young on NSL, it's such a, what it is that it's important because someone like you made it, you gave me a message, and the message is that you can do it. Right.
Thank you.
So that's how important someone like you are. That's like that whole SNL thing that happened last week.
Yeah.
Right. First of all, I don't like when people are like, well, it's the first Asian SNL. No, Rob was.
Thank you.
Right?
That's true.
Number one, first of all, there's only two people before me that did sketch. Right? Rob Schneider, who's Asian,
Yeah.
and Stephen Park.
Oh.
From In Living Color, right? He's
right.
Korean, all right? And you guys, you did a lot, man. So,
Well, thank you. It's been the thing about it was like, it's, you don't want to be treated any other way but equal and make it on your own. But a lot of times what's happened is, which is opening up now, is that there was just so much of a direction to just have like the white Anglo guy, and that was the only thing. And nobody else could be the head of a picture star in a movie or a TV series or something like that, unless it was, very infrequently, like it was like a gimme. And now that's the floodgates are open now. But going back to like that last week, what happened was like, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago.
yeah, a couple weeks.
You were great. You were hilarious on David's thing. You were so funny.
I don't know.
But the truth of the matter, though, was because we wanted to get Bobby Lee's impression of what there was, and you were nice enough to call us on your toilet, which was which was very. He was on the toilet.
I did. It was in the toilet, but
It
it
was
looked
a
like
yoga
toilet.
mat
It was
that I had
yoga
laid
mat.
out
Thank
for
you.
him.
Oh, that
He
was
was
good.
very naked.
Ah,
Yeah,
Khalyla, that was very good.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was good. But I did think like, when that guy, you don't even need to go into his name. But when that happened, it's like my thought was this: is I really feel like I've been been hit by the wave of social media, Twitter frenzy, and and I just think like, hey, it's not up to the horde to decide. I think I think if somebody is truly a racist, it'll work its way out, and then that guy obviously won't last. If this guy's a horrendous racist, it won't last. But the idea that just because you're holding a microphone, you're doing a podcast, means that it's okay to just hey, I can say whatever I want. I can be racist, or I can say demeaning, degrading things. That's not okay either. So it's in that way I feel like torn. How did you feel? Because you said on the air, fire, it's about time somebody gets fired for that.
That's not what he said on here, though.
But then when you thought about it, later that night or the next day when we talked, and you said, you know what? That's how generous you are, but also like you don't want anybody to get fired, or like this thing should work its way out. I think you can have like a learning moment. I just remember this is a weird leap, but I'm going to make it. There was a guy that the last guard, he wasn't even a guard. He was like the accountant at Auschwitz.
Stop.
Whoa, that was a big.
Whoa. Yeah, stop. Because I didn't know. Now we time traveled, and now I gotta get my mind reworked.
Gotta prepare.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Listen to it though.
we went back to. Oh no, I'm gonna listen to it. But can I just give me a second?
Let him adjust.
Auschwitz, different time period.
Okay,
The
yeah.
1940s. What is this?
Well, this is like the guy who was the
Okay, there we go.
40s.
There we go. Okay, go ahead.
1940s, Auschwitz. He's an accountant. Now, none of the guards who were ever. So basically, what happened was there was this human rights thing where, like, if you weren't directly involved in the murder of people, then they couldn't go after you. And so they changed it. Like, if you were like helping or assisting to it, then they could. And so basically, they changed that, and which they should have done. So there was like, this happened a few years back where the guy was 94 years old and he went to a trial. He's one of the last people left, and they did convict him. I mean, he died like an hour later, but the point of the point of the matter is like they were going to put him behind bars or whatever. I said that would not have been as helpful as make him go to some schools while he's still alive.
Yeah.
Make him talk about the situation.
Yes.
He admitted it.
Yeah.
He knew what was happening. He knew what was happening and was assisting in the happening of that. So I do think like instead of just I don't know why I'm a liberal, which is like a 70s off the charts liberal, which makes me an arch conservative now. In other words, who isn't for equal rights? Who isn't for gay rights? Who isn't for, I mean, everybody, and you should treat everybody equal, and for women's rights, equal pay. I'm off of that. But now it's like there's a neoliberal thing, which is like, that's not far enough. We want to be treated, we don't be treated the same. Yeah. We want to be treated better. And that seems to me a weird kind of way to get your head around it, where there is no allowance. We'll destroy you.
Yeah.
We'll cancel you. We will, and I think hopefully it's like anything. It's hitting its apex and it'll come back down.
But I think people are starting to sort of lean towards what you're saying, though, where it's like if like the allowance of just having a learning moment. For the past 2 years, no one's been allowed a learning moment. It's canceled immediately.
Yeah.
I think
one strike and you're out.
Yeah, it's just one strike and you're gone.
All right, but comics have been driven out of comedy clubs, right? Because now we're scared about saying certain things, right? So then we created podcasts so we can express those things and be free and loose.
I like
and,
this.
And exercise our rights.
Yes, but
right?
I do think you have to never forget you're up there to entertain. Some of the things, the other things too, is like some of the people who are also asking to, silence and are asking for political correctness in the sphere as if comedy is only supposed to be this great universal learning and lifting process. We're there to entertain, and that has to be, you can entertain in a myriad of ways. You can entertain in a beautiful way with by enlightening of some universal truths, or you can just be really silly. And to me, what made me laugh when we're little kids, and I know you got to be the same way, is the silly shit.
Yeah, I love
the
the
silly
shit.
stuff. That's the greatest. I mean, like you need Peter Sellers and does your dog bite?
Yeah.
Nope. I thought you said your dog did not bite. Yes, but that is not my dog. You know, it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like when I first saw Return of the Pink Panther.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a little kid, I say, "Can I have your hat? Can I have your gloves, sir? Your jacket? Can I have your keys, sir?" And you see that you think he's valet, and he just actually just taking the guy's stuff and trying. And it's like it's the greatest. I mean, that's the silliest.
Yeah.
And the silliest was king.
Yeah.
And so in a weird way, like, and then you kind of grow up, and like Cheech and Chong's like, Dave's not here. Dave, no man, I'm talking Dave. Dave, I'm Dave. Dave's not here. No, dude, I'm Dave. You know, the silliest stuff.
Right.
And then I guess you kind of progress a little bit, but I don't know if it's progressing or
You're a
just shifting.
comedy connoisseur.
You have to be, I
You
guess.
do.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt, but we have an amazing sponsor today.
Postmates, it's my favorite app in the whole wide world. When you need red wine at 4 p.m., sushi at 9 p.m., a breakfast burrito at 8 a.m., and ibuprofen at 10 a.m., you Postmate it, everybody. Postmates is your personal food delivery, grocery delivery, whatever kind of delivery service all year round. Anything you're craving, Postmates can deliver. They're the largest on-demand network in the U.S. and offer delivery from all restaurants, grocery, and convenience stores and traditional retailers you could probably want or need.
24 hours a day, 365 days a year, Postmates will bring you what you need within the hour. No more trips to the store. No more trips to the store. You don't even have to know where the store is.
Oh.
Postmates will deliver anything to you. Download the app for iOS or Android for free. Browse local restaurants and businesses and track your delivery in real time.
For a limited time, Postmates is giving our TigerBelly listeners $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days. To start your free deliveries, download the app and use the code BELLY. That's the code BELLY for $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days when you download the Postmates app. Anything you need, anytime you need it, Postmate it. Download Postmates and save with the code BELLY.
Rich Wallet, the best wallets in your pocket in the future. You guys, Rich Wallet is a wallet that every single TigerBelly staff member has in their pocket.
Yeah.
Why? Because it is the best wallet ever made. Okay? It has different styles it comes in terms of material.
Yeah.
Right? It's got RFID protection.
Uh-huh.
So they don't have to scan. You can't scan your information. It's slick, sleek, and it's only the cool people really, and it's affordable. Tell
And
them
you can
about
choose from titanium, aluminum, and carbon fiber.
Yes, and if you don't believe us, well, 30,000 people gave it 5-star reviews, so trust them.
it. Yeah,
Get 10%
30,000 people. That's a lot of
30,000.
people.
So get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping by going to ridge.com/slept. That's ridge.com/slept. And use the code SLEPT. SLEPT. Link in the description. Be the future with Ridge Wallet.
You know what?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know what I really like
forget
about
that-
it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Is that it's not just for credit cards. There's this little area where you can just slip your cash in, and it makes it really handy.
You think Rob was giving you fuck eyes?
No, he was looking at my Ridge wallet.
Sorry, man.
The Ridge Wallet.
The Ridge Wallet. It was a Ridge
Guys,
Wallet.
enjoy the rest of the show.
It's good. What
Because
turns
all
you
the things
on?
that you're saying, like I was wearing a Strange Brew T-shirt the other day,
Yeah.
and you're trying to explain to people, kids, what it is. And you just can't. They don't get
Yeah.
it. They don't know what it is, right? And you forget that there's this whole history behind us, and a lot of comics aren't historians. They'll go to a comedy club, and you'll go, "Hey, look, Kipadada's on the wall." And like they don't know who he is, right?
No.
Right? And it's kind of a
Oh,
sad.
we
like,
know.
I know.
Make me laugh.
I know.
And like
I
that
know.
guy was a really funny club act.
He was a legend.
Oh yeah, great jokes, great stand up, tied it all
He
together.
died
I didn't know he passed away.
a month ago.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kip. I got to talk to him a couple times.
Yeah, me
I
too.
got to see him, you know.
Yeah. He was signing up 2 years ago at open mic at the Comedy Store.
Oh.
And one of the door guys goes, "You know this old man?" I go, "That's fucking Kipadada, you fucking piece of shit." Well, he wants to get up. He's a paid regular.
Wow.
He is? I go, "Yeah." And they put him up. And he did good, right?
Yeah.
But they don't know. And that's sad.
Yeah.
I love comedy. So, when I bust out,
Yeah.
"Oh, you and Margaret," I know more, that's
Well, there's a history to it. You're right.
Right.
And there's also like, the thing about stand up, which is so unique, is that it really is truly like an American art form, like jazz, like rock and roll. It emanates, but it has a certain attraction to it in its ability to say something to whether it's youth or a generation, and now it's beyond that. Whereas, and it goes worldwide. So you have stand-up in Syria. You'll have it in a version of it that's safe, or that you can't get killed in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
But seriously, and it is, and it's still relatively young. If you think of any art form, if you think of like whether it's not to get too off the beat here and too elitist, but like if you look at like pointillism and expressionism and post-expressionism and impressionism, you're looking at an era of like, well, there's 1880s, 1890s, and moving up. And so you look at jazz, you look at like, where does stand-up start? Maybe it was Mark Twain who charged $1 to go around in early 20th century, charged $1 to show up at like a public like a library or a union hall, but and say like, hey, you give $1 and you come hear his stories about going to Hawaii, which is easy for us. Imagine how hard it was, 100 years ago to have to go to Hawaii. You have to take a marine liner or whatever, you take a merchant marine vessel and get out there. And so he would tell these stories, and they were jokes, and they led to something. Then kind of vaudeville kind of got in there. But if you think about like stand-up and how we do it now, you're thinking of it from like post-50s, early 60s.
It's a young sport is what you're saying.
Yeah, and like the only one guy left is Mort Saul.
Right.
You should probably have him.
I love him.
Mort Saul, he ran for president, I think, in 1960.
I know Mort Saul.
He
I
ran
love
for
him.
president?
Yeah. Mort Saul, or at least he advertised himself, Mort Saul, for president.
And so did Ben Glebe, so let's not get out of the way.
Oh, Ben Glebe's running
Yeah,
too?
yeah. You know that Ben Glebe's running, right? For president? Yeah.
Good, fingers crossed.
There's no way.
but anyway, so if you take a look at that, the stuff that turned me on when I was a kid was English humor, because like Peter Sellers and Monty Python.
Oh, my, amazing.
I mean, like it was like PBS. I mean, I didn't even know what it was, but it like my brother was just started playing this stuff, and when it was like it was not playing it, he would show it to me, and it was usually during they were selling PBS to try to join to donate money, and they would say, and 10 more minutes, more Monty Python, and I go, what is Monty Python? And these guys were just screamingly funny and screamingly silly.
Yeah.
Where you would cry laughing. I mean, literally just falling down laughing. And that was the stuff that was like my hero. And then, the silliness, which is like what led to like, the guy that, probably influenced us a lot was Steve Martin when we were little kids.
Oh, my God.
Because Steve Martin was silly. And this is after an era of like when everybody in America post-Vietnam, everyone was so serious, and like there was Watergate, and then president resigned, and people just wanted to be silly. And you had this guy who was just ready, and America was ready for him to be like the silly jokes. And some of his jokes are like, you know what I like to do when I go to a party? I like to arrive a little early and throw all the food on the floor. That's what I did at the last party I went to about 8 years ago or something like that. Just very silly.
Yeah.
And just, but like they were ready for it,
You know what I noticed about you and Spade, especially because I know you guys, I guess, the most out of that class, is you guys don't get scared. Like if I do things with David, like I did that movie with him that you were into, the Miss.
Oh yeah, Missy,
right?
Missy, yeah.
Yeah, and I worked up with him then, and I did a pilot presentation with him for his show now, and so he just doesn't get. Do you get scared?
What do you mean,
like nervous? Like if you're in a movie,
well,
or
the good thing
doing
about
live anything
Asian is so true, because like it's so true. It's like this is a kind of a weird off the beat story, but like true. Like I find for my Asian heritage and all my relatives, when they're nervous, what do? They laugh.
They do laugh. Yeah.
Oh.
It's like,
They don't know.
Yeah, and so that is a beautiful way of making the other person comfortable. But it's a heritage thing. Where it really is like a gift of like, if you're nervous, why make the other person nervous? And so they kind of laugh and like, it's generous, Don't you find it to be? But here's the weird thing. This is a weird, but like,
I love it.
That's what led to like, there's this guy named Dr. M. Scott Peck. Dr. M. Scott Peck was the guy who was the first real self-help book called The Road Less Traveled.
I know what that is.
That was on the bestseller list.
Peck, you said?
Yeah, Dr. M. Scott Peck. So this guy, what this led to, what was interesting was like there was this thing that in 1968 he was assigned to be in this government, the American military the U.S. Army assigned him to do this psychological analysis of the massacre at My Lai. Which is the massacre at My Lai, which is these troops, these company base.
What was My Lai?
Vietnam War.
Okay.
Where these guys, American troops came into this village and they just wiped out and they were unarmed and just killed all the villagers.
Not the babies.
Everybody.
Not the
Everybody.
Not the
Everybody.
babies.
The babies.
The babies. They killed the babies.
Everybody was killed in this
God.
town.
My
They just
life
started
was horrible.
firing.
Yeah.
And so they hired Dr. Peck to do this psychological analysis, and he went to what happened was, first of all, it wasn't even reported until a year later.
Damn.
So by the helicopter pilot who witnessed it, and finally just his guilt couldn't deal with it anymore. So then he reported, and then they hired him to do this psychological analysis. And they not to go too deep into that, but the psychological analysis was basically this company B, the Vietnam, the guerrillas who they were avoiding and just shooting them, sniping and whatever, and then going back in the tunnels, and they didn't even know about the tunnels at the time. So these guys were really frustrated, really angry, and a lot of these guys weren't the cream of the crop of the American military. These are grunts and whatever, and they just lost their shit at this one particular place. But what set it off was the fact when they got into the village and they were looking for a sniper, somebody who shot them. They went into the village, and they lined up these villagers, and the villagers started laughing at them. So that out of crazy nervousness, the nervousness for their lives, they were laughing. And that was what led to that massacre. So going back to that,
let me ask you this question real quick.
Do I read?
If you and I were,
it's useless?
If you and I were there, we're in the same platoon, we're American soldiers,
Yeah.
and I go haywire, I go off. You know what I mean? Like Uzis into like fetuses.
Oh my Lord.
Just go crazy. I don't know if that's possible.
Theoretically, yeah.
Theoretically,
we know the average age of the guy there was 19. So
there we go. You know what I mean? But let's say I go crazy, and then 3 years later I get court-martialed. Would you testify against me?
Oh, I would testify the truth, but
No,
I would say
what?
I would say.
Wait. No, that's not funny. It's not funny. I don't know what you're doing. No, that's not funny. I don't know what you're
Making
doing.
you feel comfortable.
No, Rob. No. There's only one way this goes. Okay. I don't know why you're laughing, and this is really fucking
See,
me
I'm
up.
nervous.
Don't be nervous right now, man. I want to just say something. Okay, move this fucking fire. Okay, I'm going to ask you again, man. Will you testify against me?
Never.
Thank you. Okay. And it feels great.
Never. It does.
We can move on, right?
We can.
Don't say shit like that again. I love you, man. But fuck, right? Would you testify against me?
I would. You know why?
What?
I think that you would live a miserable life as a free man if you had any conscience at all. I think that down the road you'd
He'd
feel
get
better
over it.
about.
He's a stand-up.
He's right, and he has really short-term memory.
Yeah,
but
he would say, you know what? Yeah, I feel bad, but also I got to live for me now. I can't worry about all those people. I can't help them anymore. I feel bad, but now I'm gonna feel worse if I don't live my life to the fullest.
You're right. He
You
doesn't
find a way
have
to
much
rationalize.
remorse, yeah.
What it really is a when you have the thing about I don't hear other stand-ups talking about was you hear it comes at a psychic price. Remember the first time when you risked everything? You don't want, with a real stand-ups when they're really doing, you don't want to know anyone there because the potential for humiliation, it's important to kind of melt that ego away. I remember bombing when I first started for the first year and a half to where the physical, I said, I just curiously, I want to remember the physical manifestations of what I'm feeling right now. Just utter humiliation and just bombing. I swear to God, I felt like my ears were melting off my head.
Yeah.
Just that kind of humiliation, whoa.
When was the last time you felt that?
My wife recently no, I'm just kidding. I never felt that. You know what I did though? Seriously, and then all comedians that kind of do that too. They say, okay, after that happened, I said, I'm not going to let any audience destroy me. I'll let them bother me. And just, you kind of I said, I'm going to let them bother me till here, but not below that.
Yeah.
In other words, I'll give them 40% to humiliate me, but I'm not going to give. Sometimes you have a bad night.
I would get so nervous in the beginning that I would force myself, no matter what happens, you have to commit to this one physical thing in this bit. I don't care if you flub the words. I want you to commit through this physical. I had a bit about LSD, how you think you're normal.
Yeah.
You think you're walking like this, right?
Yeah.
But you're really walking like this, right? Is the bit, right?
But you got to commit
I had
to
to
it.
commit to it.
Otherwise,
right?
it doesn't work.
So I would go like this. I would go, so you think you're walking like this, right? And I would just do a normal walk across the street. And then, but you really walk, and I would do this crazy, like, walk, right?
And it works.
But it didn't the first time.
Because you didn't commit.
Because I did kind of commit, but in my head, I'm like, you have to commit more. It's got to go crazy.
Isn't it
and then you
interesting
learn
that
to do it.
But isn't it interesting that your instinct was not failure or not like this isn't working, but I can get it to work. This isn't working out, but I can get it to work this way. That's a great instinct. That's survival instinct. And that comes at a risk too. Like, whoa,
Yeah.
It's jumping out of a
like
plane
doubling
scary.
down?
It's a jumping out of the plane scary.
Yeah.
You know what sucks about stand-up is you cannot get around the failing part of it.
Oh, yeah, still.
You still cannot. So it's like, that's why it's the worst job ever, because you're, no matter how big you are.
Yeah, Jerry says, they'll go and see, like, my daughter's a singer, and they'll go and see her songs and whatever. And I said, you made the right choice. Because, like, Jerry Seinfeld says, you know what, as you're a comedian, I don't care how famous you are. You get 2-3 minutes max, then you got to be funny. And you got to stay funny. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't care how funny, how famous you are. And he's right. And nobody wants to hear the same jokes that you said 2 years ago, whatever.
Can I ask you about that, your daughter? Is that a
Yeah,
personal? Because I honestly, we were watching, what were we watching? Something
We were
on
watching
TV.
American Idol.
That's it?
Yeah,
We're watching
she coached
American
the
Idol.
winner.
Yeah, she coached.
She did. Your daughter came on, right?
Yeah.
And she was good, but I didn't know she was your daughter.
Yeah.
And then she goes, that's Rob's daughter. I go, Rob who?
Rob
She goes, Schneider. I go, shut up.
Yeah, that's my kid.
And I go, and then I Googled it, and I apologized to her. And you know everything. Sorry, baby.
Yeah, I don't.
I love
would,
you so. Look at her
You know what?
skin.
You know
So
what's
fresh.
funny is that's a male machismo thing because I doubt my wife all the time, and I stopped doing it. I mean, I do it in my head, but I don't tell her
Yeah.
because like, why? It's just a thing. Like I need to fix it. I know how to get there. That kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's I don't think it's like a disrespect personally. I just think it's like a guy thing. I think it slowly changes.
Yeah.
As you get older, there's this weird thing. My wife thinks there's such a thing called andropause. What do they call it? Andropause or
opposite of menopause?
Andropause. Yeah. Angiopause. What the hell do they call it?
Dude, you're saying stuff
I've never
above
heard
my
of it
pay
before.
grade.
No,
So,
it's
like,
like
I don't know what
it's basically guys going through the
Oh,
menopause.
andropause.
Oh, yeah.
Andropause.
Yeah.
This
Where
guy
your
about like a guy.
testosterone goes down.
No, but not just that, but like no, but like there is no pause.
No,
It's
there
like
isn't.
men, no more. Andropause, no more. I don't believe it, but she thinks like no, it's a diminishing kind of. My wife's convinced of that, but I don't believe it. But at the same time, there are some manifestations of it that are physical manifestations that you can say are maybe is what she's talking about. Is the hemispheres in the brain that separate the left side of the brain, the right side of the brain, kind of dissolve a little bit, so you become more in touch emotionally as you become in your 40s and on, more available, more sympathetic, more empathetic. That's why it's interesting to know that like the people like you don't have it at all when you're a teenager. That's why like the Khmer Rouge, they wanted to get people to kill other people. Who did they hire? 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds.
Yeah,
Because they'll do what you tell them to do. I need you to go over there.
Wait. 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds are more susceptible to directions?
Because they have
Evil directions?
Or just
well,
higher
they're more
testosterone.
To manipulate.
to manipulate and
Yeah.
to do what you're
Pol
told
Pot
without,
did that
without
with the
thinking.
Khmer Rouge.
Pol Pot, right? Exactly.
So Pol Pot is a manipulator in that way.
Yeah. Well, yes. But like to get, if you want people to do bad shit, it's like that's why they want 18 and 19-year-olds to join the army. Because if you ask me, like, hey, we need you to climb the hill and go kill those people, you're gonna go, what?
Who are they?
Yeah, who are they? What do they have against us? And can we
Let me
talk
ask
about
you
this? Is
something.
there another way? That's why they get 18, 19-year-olds to do it.
If you and I were in the Khmer Rouge.
Okay. Get ready, Rob.
No,
Get ready.
Let me finish.
They'd let us live.
No, you and our soldiers in this
Oh,
scenario,
okay,
you
all right.
fucker.
You're Pol
Okay.
Pot soldiers?
Yeah, we're Pol
All
Pot
right, all right.
soldiers,
But you're
right?
17, 18.
17, 18, we say.
We're 17, 18-year-old Pol Pot.
Okay,
we have
yeah.
soldiers, right?
So we're stand-ups.
And Pol's
We're
like,
looking for open mics.
do we call him Pol? I don't know what. Do you call him Mr. Pot or do you call him Pol?
PP.
Or PP? What's up, PP? What do you do? Anyway, we'll call him Mr. P.
Or Prime
Yeah,
Minister.
okay, so
So Mr. P is like, hey, I don't know what it sounds like. This is like an East Coast guy, but like, hey, you guys, this is the one that you're gonna, interrogate, right?
Yeah.
And then interrogate, and I take a Swiss Army knife and start gouging the eyes out, start fucking the side, and I go crazy, and then like we go back to Pot.
Yeah.
What would you say to him? What I did?
He did what you wanted, and I don't know if you really wanted that. I would say that Pol Pot.
That's better than what before. Remember before they would have ratted me out? Remember?
Testify against the truth.
You're learning.
Listen, he did exactly what you said.
There we go.
Let me
Thank you, Rob.
You know, the thing about though is like, which is true about like, you know, if you're in your 40s, or whatever, you're gonna think about things a little bit more, and like they don't really. I mean, like the problem, as Howard Zinn would say about society, isn't civil disobedience; it's civil obedience. Everybody doing what they're told, and that's the problem we have in America, right there. No, people need to stand up and you know, say, you know, we have a moral duty to disobey laws that are unjust.
I have a little question I want to ask you.
Martin Luther King.
I wasn't going to ask you this, but I'm going to ask you.
Here it comes. Oh shit! I knew it.
And we'll cut it out if you don't want to answer it. But when I was,
you should say that. You should say that, but every question.
Yeah, I'm going to do that every question. But when I was doing that movie with Spade, you weren't in it at first. Right? You weren't at it because I asked, who's in it? They rattled it off.
Yeah.
50 names. I was there with a lot of them, like Lauren and, you know, Witowski.
Who's great.
Love Lauren.
Witowski.
Witowski's
What a classic guy.
What a great
that guy should be on SNL. They need a guy like that.
He almost had it.
That guy is like made for that show.
I know.
Funny, tall. I mean, that's a guy in any era. They need a guy like
He's
that.
like a Chevy Chasey kind of.
Exactly.
Like a
he can play a fireman, a policeman. He can play a normal guy, a dad.
He auditioned 3 times, Rob.
More than that.
Or more than
met
that.
with Lauren.
Met with Lauren. Went and you know, he auditioned for Josh Myers too. Seth Meyers. I mean,
That's why if he would have had a better manager, he would have gotten in there.
His manager's the best.
Really? Okay. If he had a worse manager, he would have gotten in.
His manager is, you know, Odenkirk's wife.
Yeah.
That's her.
Yeah.
So he's in cahoots with some good people.
I know. He could have. If he was with Brillstein, he'd be on there.
You think so?
I think so, because Brillstein was like the guy. David Spade, and David Spade never talked about this in his book, because he called me up one time and he says like, hey buddy, I ain't gonna do this book. You mind if I say some shit about you? And I said, sell your book. What if I can make you some money? Go for it, pal. Say whatever you want. And I said, just don't forget that when they hired you at SNL, they hired you why? And they said, and this is true. And I said, I'm going to put this in my book when you don't.
Yeah.
And here it comes. It's coming right now. And you could ask me to cut you if you want me to cut this out.
You want to cut this out?
No, I insist you keep it in.
I want to keep it in.
David Spade only got hired on SNL because Bernie Brillstein told Lorne Michaels, you got to, because they only wanted to hire me. So you hire Rob Schneider. And they said, well, you got to hire David Spade, too, because they're a comedy team. They write as a team.
Wow.
That's the only reason he got hired. Because he's auditioned. They didn't hire him from that.
Wow. So did you?
got hired.
How did you meet David then?
Well, because we were best buddies as soon as we met. I mean, when you see David Spade's one of those guys. And I say this, he's as funny in any era. You drop him in the Middle Ages, hey buddy, that guy looks like he's going to infect us or something, you know. Is that a rat over there? You know, we're gonna, you know, hey man, you know, I mean, anywhere, he can like, he's comfortable in any social group, whatever, and you're guaranteed to get 5 laughs every time you're with him. You know, it's one of those.
It's his stories too, and even when he gets emotional,
I never seen that.
No, he told me a story when he found out about Fairley. He was on that other show. What sitcom he was on?
Yeah.
Just Shoot Me.
He couldn't even come to the funeral, and I understand why. I didn't understand then. I understand why now.
Did you go to the Fairley's funeral?
Yeah.
Wow, that must have been.
Well, you know, it's the thing. Like, it's just like literally like my father dying and like Farley dying were the most absolute. I mean, you kind of saw it. The last time I could have seen him was at a party, but I didn't want to go because I knew he was drinking at that time, and I didn't want to be there because condoning his addiction. So I said, I'm not going to go because I don't want to be one of those guys who's like, you know, hey, slap happy when I know he shouldn't be drinking, you know, and like, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I wish I would have went that last time. But so going back to like David's also one of those guys like, you know, when it was I met an acting class and there was all these good looking girls and everything, and it was recommended from Gary Shandling. Gary Shandling recommended this guy Roy London to go to this class, and like of course then David Spade was there, and it was a great class. Elizabeth Shue was taking the class, and like Brad Pitt was at the time also in the class, and like Sharon Stone had taken the class, and Jeff Goldblum was coming out of that class. So there's some badass dudes in there.
Where's this class? I need to go to this class.
He's passed away now. And then Ivana Chubbuck took over the school, and she's also
Where is she?
an excellent
I need
teacher.
it.
She's right down the street, not too far from here.
I'll take it.
And so I met David, and like David was like,
He must have been, when you saw him, you must have been like, is he 12?
I know,
right?
He was a young guy, but he was like, and also you can tell just a stand-up, still trying to figure out his voice and finding himself and stuff. But he had already been in a movie. And when you first get to L.A.,
Gleaming?
and you somebody who's like in a movie and like that you're talking to, and it's a stand-up and go, how did you do it? How did you get in a movie?
Yeah,
movie?
Yeah.
How did you get a movie?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You remember how amazing that was?
Yeah. I'm still like that with people.
But seriously,
Yeah.
it is like, it's just, it's unbelievable. And how did you do it? And then like, how do I do it? Because if you can do it, then like it's one of those things.
Sorry to interrupt, but we have an amazing sponsor we want to tell you about.
MyBookie.ag. MyBookie.ag. At the end of a hard week, it's great to sit down, take some time off, and watch some fucking football.
Mm-hmm. What's your team?
My team is the Miami's.
Love it.
Wow.
Right,
I
and the
love 'em.
Dallas Nighthawks. They're the best. They like to pass interference things.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of a week, it's hard to. Oh, I read that. Game-winning touchdowns on the 2-minute drives. Running backs racing down the sidelines with no one stop to them. They're nothing else like the NFL, and there's no way better to make them games even more exciting. Just bet on them. Mm-hmm. Tell them more.
Guys, so do the smart thing and go to mybookie.ag. No one gives you more ways to win than they do. MyBookie's got the fastest payouts and better lines than any other sports book. Join now, and MyBookie will double your first deposit. Use promo code BELLY to activate the offer. That's the promo code BELLY. Visit mybookie.ag today. You play, you win, you get paid.
And Khalyla and I actually made some money off of. What was that fight that we won money off of?
A lot.
A lot of
We're
them.
on for every time there's a UFC fight, we bet money.
That's right.
And all those Dallas Nighthawks games.
Oh, Captain, Queen,
Yes.
which of my online searches does the government have a right to know about?
None.
You know what? The answer is you are correct, sir. They should not know. Without ExpressVPN's protection through hackers, governments, ad companies, and ISPs, they all have full access to your data. I don't want them using my web history because there's some interesting stuff on there.
Mine's especially interesting.
What?
I dare not tell it to
Well-
you guys. That's why I have ExpressVPN.
Yeah.
Please tell us more, Bobby.
ExpressVPN is the fastest VPN I've ever tried. Costs less than $7 per month and comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's time to stop governments and internet companies from keeping tabs on your data, man. Take back your online privacy like I did with ExpressVPN.
All it needs is privacy.
I know.
Protect your online activity today and find out how you can get 3 months free at expressvpn.com/belly. That's expressvpn.com/belly for 3 months free with a 1-year package. Visit expressvpn.com/belly to learn more. Enjoy the rest of the show.
And then I remember it was like the young comedians at that time was like me and then David and then Adam Sandler moved here. And like Adam Sandler and I lived right across the street from Houston Street.
No, really.
Yeah.
So you guys knew each other all before SNL.
Wow.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when the L's mom threw all my stuff out of the apartment window and I drove home and my homeless people were picking through my clothes, and I said, "Shit, that looks familiar. I have the same fucking Eisenhower jacket. I wore the same one I ever let him, and then I realized, holy shit, that is my jacket." And anyway, so then I got kicked out of the house for a while, and I went over and slept in Adam Sandler's place 'cause it's right across the street.
Wow.
And he didn't even have an extra pillow, an extra.
What was it, just empty?
He had like no, he didn't have an extra on his couch. He didn't have like it wasn't.
Now, let me ask you,
he had
what does
cupboard-
Adam Sandler's couch look like? This is going to be in
First of all,
now.
it's
the
funny-
early 90s, late 80s.
Late 80s.
Late
But I would
80s.
tell you, like, it's interesting you talk about the couch because I remember because we both got on Saturday Night Live, we were making nothing. It's literally like $750 a week, you know?
Wow.
And it's
What?
like, yeah. To be a writer there, beginning writer.
Wow.
And so I think it was like, it ended up being $1,500 like for the month or something because there's only 2 shows a month. So it was really low. So, because it's late night too. And I remember like when we got hired, and like, because after the first year, he became like a regular, like, or not a regular, but a feature player.
Yeah.
We're both feature player.
Yeah.
And I went to his apartment, and it was like right across the street from McDonald's, which I thought was like, that's pretty cool. And then he had a new couch, and I just still remember it was like blue and striped, and I was like, like a new couch. And I've been a stand-up for like 8 years by that time, and or 6 years or 7 years, or maybe it was 8 years, and like I'd never bought a new couch before. So this guy's got a couch. I'm like, does this guy got more money than me? Where's this couch? And I'm thinking like, holy shit, he's making it. He's got a couch.
Yeah.
And I remember the coolest thing was like the going there and I'd always admired his blue and white couch. And then he would say, after he hit really hard. He did like the Hanukkah song.
Right.
And he said, hey, you got to come over and hear this, buddy. And he brought me over, and it's like, hey, buddy, listen to this. And it was his answering machine. And he said, Sandman, it's Steven Spielberg. Just want to tell you, that was a winner. Wow. Killed me.
Wow.
And then he goes, beep. Sandman, it's Hanks. That was a good one, buddy.
Wow.
And I went like, holy shit.
Jeez.
This guy's going to be fucking huge.
Yeah.
And I went like, geez. So it was like, those are the memories that I really remember. Like he was, that he shared with me because we had a shared dressing room. We were buddies before, and like, it was cool.
Oh man, you know what I love about him too? His loyalty.
This is unbelievable.
Toward you.
Oh yeah.
No, he has such loyalty.
He's been when I went
toward you.
Yeah.
And fucking David. Let me say something. I've auditioned for every single Adam Sandler movie. no, fuck you. Fuck
Dude,
you.
Let me just tell you
fuck
this.
you. Ever made.
Let me just tell you.
And I
new one
can't get in because you're in.
I know.
You're the guy.
I got bad news for you and great news for you.
What?
Is that the new one we're doing, you're in. We've already talked about you. I'm just telling you right now.
Wait, Adam Sandler did.
You are in the new
Did
movie.
Sandler say something?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's all I need to know.
Wow. Do you want us to cut
Cut
this
to
out?
a year from now, right? I'm going to be in a fucking Chinese
Listen.
rice hat. My lines are.
I got to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah, what is it?
Joe Coy and I are doing a movie, and he's producing.
You and Joe are doing a movie,
And he's producing.
Adam's producing, and that's the one I'm going to be in.
Yeah.
If I'm not in that, I'm going to
just
tell you
telling
something.
you right now.
He will be heartbroken. He will be heartbroken.
I will give you that car down there.
He's happy, but he's so
Sorry,
close.
baby. I got so angry that I couldn't walk. Sorry, baby.
You walk like this.
No, but I want you to do. I want you to help with the role, figure it out, because I've
We
got
will-
like.
we'll figure it
I'm
out.
telling you, it's been a lot of. I'm having fun writing it.
Yeah.
And Joe is so funny because he's calling me. Joe's having like the ride of maybe 24 comedians get in the history of the world right now.
Yeah.
Where he's selling out like stadiums.
Yeah.
He calls me from like, dude, I've got 25,000 people in Hawaii who want to say hi to you, and he's got on the phone.
Yeah.
So anyway, and it's gonna be fun. We're just gonna play, a couple of cops in a movie, and it's been really fun writing. And
Robbie.
I can't wait for him to take over.
I got another thing for you.
Yes.
We should do this.
What?
Aside from that, even, because you know that me and Joe, we signed a thing with Howie Mandel. We're working with Howie Mandel on something, right? But listen to me.
With Howie?
But I've been doing Magnum PI. I've been in Hawaii.
That's
And
beautiful.
they have a lot of studios out there, and couple of producer types out there were saying this would be a good situation to do like a very low budget single camera comedy in Hawaii, because we have all the resources, right? Because there's only 2 shows shooting out there right now.
Yeah.
I want to do something like that.
It is good.
I
what's
want to do
funny?
a show with you, Joe Coy, and a bunch of people
Hey.
just living in Hawaii.
No,
You guys all be
Hey,
homeless
let me
guys.
tell you, yeah.
Homeless Asians in
there's-
Hawaii.
Oh, that's a funny
Homeless
premise.
Asians
Let me
in
tell you about
Hawaii.
New York. Let me tell you, because in New York, that's what they were doing in the 90s. This is a true story. They were giving homeless people one-way flights, one-way tickets to Hawaii, and shipping them out until finally the Hawaii
Just to get out.
Finally, say, hey, brother, what is this? You smell that shit?
They were doing that, really?
Yeah, they were doing that,
Yeah,
man, until
yeah.
they get caught.
That's the movie.
That's the movie. Or that's
That's
the
the
TV
movie.
show.
That's
or
the
movie.
premise of the movie or
I love
TV
it.
show
You get
we do.
shipped.
We get shipped
Is it
out
what
there.
era though?
What,
In the 90s. That's
In the
funny.
90s?
We can fuck with the music.
No. You can just do it now. Homeless guys get shipped over to Hawaii. That's true. Why not? Make it easier.
Yeah. But man, having it in
You know what they say about the homeless thing? Let me tell you about the homeless thing, because like I was like, I don't know why I remember this, but like literally, I was like washing doing my laundry someplace, and this guy was in there, And he was a youngish guy, like you could say late 30s, whatever. And he was a little frazzled. And he said, I'm homeless, but I'm washing my clothes. I want to keep it together and everything, but I am homeless. And it didn't seem like too off. And in this time when you meet somebody, you just feel, well, I've just been curious. And if anything, I'm still in show business. I'm curious about stuff. I like to read or learn something I don't know. I don't like to learn too much about I don't know, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like my wife says, I'll never finish a book, but I'll get kind of like, I'm good enough with that.
yeah.
But like I said to him, so what's the hardest part? And he said, what? Being homeless. And you know what he answered?
What?
What would you think?
The hardest about is being seen as a human being.
That's a good question. That's a really
good answer.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Good
What's your answer?
question.
Give me your answer.
I would say just like probably loneliness. Just being, probably loneliness.
What's your answer?
Or the nights.
That's a good one, babe.
Not
Those
having a home or a family to come to.
Those are all secondary answers. The rudimentary thing.
Oh, hang on. Showers.
Okay, well, just the absolute necessity of. He said, when you're kind of life or death kind of situation, the immediacy, what you need immediately, or just and like he said, lack of sleep. That was the toughest thing because he's always afraid somebody's going to jump him, steal whatever shit he has. So he's like,
they
he's
can't
constantly up.
sleep.
You know how hard it is for you to sleep.
I know, and I have a home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Homes.
So yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we'll create like these casket-looking things in the street.
We always talk.
Let me just hear me out.
Yeah,
Hear me out, right?
Pods. We call them pods.
They're pods.
Sleep pods.
So they get the caskets, so when they get killed, it's easier to bury.
No.
To Hawaii?
They're not dead. They just look like it.
Okay.
And they basically, and you charge what, $15 a night?
So well insulated.
Japan
well
has
aerated.
Tokyo has those. They're casket hotels.
Oh, they are?
I don't think they call it casket hotels.
Yeah,
but
something like that. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
they call it a pod. It's a
Yeah,
fucking
the pod.
casket. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. But you got the internet, you got a TV, and you got a little place to sleep.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When I first went to Japan, they realized what we still don't over here in America is like space and how how you can be more ingenious about using time, space, and what you have. And the Japanese would take literally a regular suburban garage space and go, we're going to stack 48 cars here.
That's so true.
And how do they do it? Well, we're just going to have a system that's rotating.
Oh, yeah,
that goes
yeah.
up like that, and they just build it.
Incredible.
And then they would never think about even doing that. Yeah. Remember when my dad, when he started to make a little bit of money when I was in my late teens, and he's thinking about buying like a car lot in San Francisco. There's a car lot that's for sale, but I was going to buy it with a couple other guys. But then I thought, it's a cash business. I don't want either you two. But I thought this way you can have a job, on the weekends and but I don't want you guys to get shot, so I didn't do it. 'Cause he's worried about, my dad's always thinking. My dad was Jewish too, so he was always worried about. Look, this is the thing I'm still dealing with, like in therapy now. Listen, when they come back, because the Nazis will come back in some form. When they come back and they come to the door, okay. What happens is if they come in the door, we all jump them. They can't kill us all. One of you go and get the gun that's next to the bed. One of you will be able to get there. And I'm like, hey, I'm 8 over here. No, I'm serious. I was like, I remember I was 9.
Yeah.
I remember my brother crying about it.
Oh.
And he'd say, when are they coming? And I'm like,
he's 3 years older than, right?
yeah. And I 2 years old. But he's like, they're not coming. Or I doubt, I think we're going to be okay this generation or at least for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
I turned out to be wrong, but they're coming to get us in social media. But yeah, so there was always, it was that kind of thing. Like my dad, never wanted to buy a German car, because he was Jewish. He didn't want to,
Yeah.
So, but then you kind of got to get over certain stuff. You have to morally justify certain things in your life at a certain point. Like he wouldn't want to drive like a German car, but he bought one for my mom. And he said yeah, they killed all my relatives, but man, that's a quiet ride. You know what I mean?
Great commercial.
So you have to justify.
Yeah, justify.
There's a commercial. That's right.
commercial.
Yeah, it's a real.
Yeah, but he didn't buy it for himself. But he got it for his wife. Said, yeah, it was used. He never bought a new car his entire life. He always got secondhand car, good ones, but never, Lincoln Continental.
Yeah.
I threw it off a cliff on a movie, just as a respect.
A lot of Filipinos claim to be related to you.
Yes,
Is that a
You
thing?
hear that? Okay, I'm not actually
Yeah.
making this up.
Oh, wow.
I do
I'm
have.
very entrenched I'm very deep with the Filipino community. I grew up there. I'm telling you, every third person I meet will claim to be related to you in some capacity.
I will tell you this. My family, the Estacio family from northern Philippines, from Baguio, which used to be the only place in the Philippines that snowed, and my uncle Os Hamada, who's Japanese, Oscar Hamada, who's a Japanese Filipino, who was basically the only reason my family survived because he spoke Japanese and had a Hamada name and was able to saw what was happening, hid food, hid the girls, most importantly, up in the attic, and and then it was one of the reasons that they survived. That's the northern Philippines, and up there they have different tribes. And the different beautiful textiles and stuff. Yeah. But one of the things that was known to the beautiful textiles, just the stuff. One of the things that they
don't say textiles again.
Okay,
because if you say it again,
you laugh.
I know, but if you say textiles again, I'm gonna freak the fuck out.
I just love certain stuff.
I like you smiling because your eyes crinkle, but don't do textiles.
So, but they also are known, besides the beautiful, the beautiful rugs and clothing that they make, and would make it. They'd also put it around their shields. The different material. Textiles. They were also known for being headhunters.
Yeah.
And head shrinkers. Mm-hmm. Oh. So basically, if they had good-looking girls, it was more of a temperate, milder weather. They had great farmland. How do we keep other people from coming in? Well, it'd probably be helpful if we just let out the message, know that we're going to cut your fucking head off and we're going to shrink it. And then they would have little heads.
The little heads.
And it was very effective for a very, very, very long time.
The shrunken heads.
I think up until
How hard is it to shrink a head?
It's pretty hard.
I don't think so.
I don't even think it's easy to scalp somebody.
I don't know about that, but I'm pretty sure I know how to cut a guy's head off.
I don't know if they really shrink it. I don't know if they make it like they take a monkey and make it look like it's a person or something.
Maybe, yeah.
But even under Marcos, which is the late 60s, President Marcos, who was there, and a lovely Imelda, his wife, and I still think, I think maybe she just passed away. She's still around. She's in her 90s.
She's still around.
She's still around.
Yeah,
okay.
Imelda hasn't died yet.
So even in the late 60s, they found, because Philippines is an archipelago, which is islands, a group of 4,000 islands.
Yeah, I've been there.
And they have,
I've been there. Bunch of times.
They have,
have
found cavemen people.
Yeah, I know.
Who were in the late 60s. Can you imagine?
Wait.
Yeah.
Cavemen.
Stop.
What were they called? The
Filipinos.
Wait, the ones
that's what they call them, Filipinos.
The Filipinos.
Yeah.
They call caveman Filipinos. I forget. I think the technical term is caveman Filipino. Yeah. No, there's a I forget what it's called.
Like in the Ifugao region, like in the mountainous areas.
It was mountainous, but also
alive or just the skull, fossils.
No, alive.
No, wait.
No, alive.
Stone Age tribal people were
in a cave.
Not in a cave, but I'm saying Stone Age tribal people that were isolated and never in society for 10,000 years. Okay.
Wow.
And they were found in the late 60s, and they tried to acclimate them and put them into society, and they didn't do well. They committed suicide and a lot
of course.
So going back to what you're saying about every
Tabon, Tabon.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was in the 60s. 1967, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, going back to what you're saying, when my dad, martial law, I was there in 1972 when martial law was put in. Literally, there were tanks at the airport. And talking about it was a grass airport, and we had a propeller plane. And that's the only time I saw my dad scared shitless. And there was tanks, and there was and we're literally, my relatives came to see me. My dad had the Super 8 footage of my relatives coming to say goodbye to me. And it was literally a pan that never stopped. In other words, my dad was panning the camera, going to people, and literally, it must have been. I'm exaggerating, but I'm going to say it was several hundred people.
Yeah.
So the Spaniards would take these badass Filipino warriors, because they had these, the eskrima sticks.
The eskrima, the arnis, yeah.
Those would be they would make those, but with blades on them.
Commas, yeah.
That's a movie I would really like to see. You know how Indonesia has
this? I can't even say it. I know what you're talking
but
about.
Raid 2, Filipinos need to have an arnis or eskrima action movie.
I would love that.
The Walk.
I wanted to make it. I wanted to make it about 10 years ago, and then I had a movie that bombed. and didn't make a big stand. I did martial arts for 7 months and did that whole thing. And
Oh, really?
tore both my rotator cuffs. I broke my ankle
shit.
8 days. Because when you're starting to do martial arts and you're 42, like, you know,
Not the best combo.
no, I'm like, I got this. Ah, fuck!
Yeah.
And but anyway, so, but I was the movie I wanted to do next after that, which is the straight on martial arts, just straight on. Because what they did was they sent out these warriors. They learned how to fight. This American guy, I forget his name now, learned that art of the close combat.
Yeah.
You know,
Knife fighting or?
yeah, and so they would send 12 guys out, and 12 guys would come back. They were unbeatable, these guys, and it was bloody, awful.
I wish you
hand-to-hand
would
combat.
really look into arnis or eskrima or any type of like weapons fighting from the Philippines.
We'll try to do that, yeah.
Or like the butterfly knife.
Yeah,
That's born in the Philippines.
The butterfly.
What's that called? It's the butterfly. It's called
Balisong.
balisol. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's a beautiful knife. It's got two little handles and it flips around. It's like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you see a guy who knows how to use that. We got that in the movie, so you're gonna have to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this is how they would take these badass little warriors, and that's what would guard the galleons, the Spanish galleons, and that's how some of them would drop off and they'd stop in New Orleans, and some of them would stay there and go, fuck this, and that's how they ended up in New Orleans. That's how they ended up all over the world from this. And it was, but what they wanted, the Spaniards loved these guys because they would come in and like anybody come near them, you're dead. And they actually changed boxing. This is true. Before remember the old English? You ever see those old English boxing
Like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The British.
Well, the Filipinos did this. It was this kind of thing. So after 1905, 1910, when the American army was in there, this fighting was different, except there were knives coming out that looked like claws.
That's what they do with the chickens back home. They put a little blade with a.
So this was the fight. So this kind of fighting, the African American guys who came back from that, there was this kind of
See,
fighting.
he says it too.
Kind of come, yeah. You have to
I
know.
say African American.
Yeah,
These guys make fun of me.
dude. No,
they
I'll
say
go with
black, right? And the thing is that I'm
call
sorry,
somebody- if you
but
call-
in my day, African American is what you said.
Yeah, if you call somebody black in the 60s, you get or African American, you get punched in the face.
In the 60s.
In the 60s, yeah.
When can you say
1960s.
African American then?
I think African American kind of came in late 70s, early 80s.
And then now you're not allowed to say it.
Now you're just gonna say, "What's up? How you doing? Everything good?"
yeah.
I don't know this race. Nice to see you.
I always thought you were going to be an asshole.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
honestly,
when you
no,
first met him?
no, when you're talking right now, in my head, I was like, I think this guy is a real cocksucker. In my head, because I never met him. I couldn't. There was just my avenue in show business. Just we weren't in the
Did
same.
you meet?
Yeah, when was the first moment?
I saw him.
You know what? I
he
feel
doesn't
bad
rep-
about this. I do feel bad about this. 'cause,
About what?
I want to hear.
No,
first.
I wanted you to be in one of the movies, but what happened was the studio at the time told me we got to hire this person from this country and this person from this country, and you were way funnier. You were way funnier than the guy that we hired. I'm sorry
You
to
don't have
say
to
that.
you don't
He's
have to
passed away now, and he's a nice guy, but like,
You don't have to say it. I don't
No,
know.
you would have
I don't
been-
even know what you're saying, but
no, but I just remember
really
like,
nice. Thank you. Really nice.
I just remember like,
I'll tell you how I first met you at LAX.
Oh.
I saw him. It was like a Thursday, and I saw him. He was like walking on the phone. He was wearing one of those Sherlock Holmes hats he likes to wear.
Classic.
And in my head, I'm like, "Do you say something? Because I don't want to say anything, and then have him be a dick." And then like,
I know, isn't that something that you think about though?
well, it's so stupid.
Either people don't want them to be a dick, or they do want them,
right,
because it's a better story,
right.
right?
But I went, you know what? No, I think it's not, because I've heard it. So I said hi to you, and you were so nice. I felt guilty about all the negative thoughts I've had about him.
How did you
Over
build
the
all
years.
those up?
I always build things when I don't know anybody. Like I had that with even Jim Gaffigan, and
it's
then
a self-defense
it's
mechanism.
a defense. Yeah.
Totally is. I feel that way. You know what it really is? I do think that that's part of the Asian thing, because my mother, the Asian heritage about like, you'll be disappointed or don't you have, it's the kind of like my mother used to tell me, Robert, when do you turn off?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm swear to God, I forgot about that for like so many years. When do you turn off? Turn off, Robert. And I went like, yeah, when do I turn off? So I just go through life thinking like I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
That's the thing with all my relationships with women have been affected by that. Because every time, usually I have to like, I'm like this.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm waiting to get yelled at or in trouble or something. And what I realized is what's going to be my comedy special. It's just like, I'm thinking about naming it this, because I'm trying to figure out, I'm going to shoot in a couple months. But I realized I was raised by a 12-year-old girl.
Right.
I was raised by emotionally. She was 12. I mean, God bless her. She's become almost a professor of education. She could have been. She was a master's degree. But like what happened was when anybody has real trauma, and then something reminds them of that trauma or something, they get threatened by something, whether it's to control somebody or whatever, they're out of control. They go back to that trauma, place of trauma. And so I was constantly brought back. I was confronted with this 12-year-old girl mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my sister's the one who told me that years ago. She said, she's very immature. When there's this thing just to contain control, to keep control, to manipulate, to do whatever you need to do. As a 12-year-old.
Yeah. At the end of our thing, we do this. We do a thing called Unhelpful Advice. People ask questions. They're in trouble, and we try to either help them or not. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Protect ourselves.
Unhelpful Advice with Bobby, Khalyla, and Rob Schneider.
I just found out some really shocking information yesterday. My friend asked me what I knew about my boyfriend's dad, and I knew some gossip already. He's been arrested and he's an alcoholic. I assumed that's what I would hear. Then he proceeded to tell me that my boyfriend's dad fucked a guy our age who went to the same high school as us. His dad is married to my boyfriend's mom still, and they always are pretty homophobic. I literally have no fucking clue what to do.
Wait. Stop.
Who's fucking who?
Here.
So
The dad?
Yeah.
the dad is
Khalyla, you explain it to me.
Okay.
So have you been briefed on this beforehand?
No, I'm just.
She's translated for
Good.
Understand.
Bobby.
She's good.
Okay.
She's good.
See, we're comedians. I got like 3 things, and I'm like,
Yeah.
That's why people write them short now.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Explain it
So,
to me.
say for instance, we're in a relationship.
Yes.
You find out that my father is cheating on my mom with a young boy. But
Okay, I know this.
yeah, but my parents are homophobic, but it turns out my dad is
Gay.
So
fucking-
the dad is gay, but he's outwardly homophobic.
my dad is homophobic, but it turns out he fucks young boys.
Okay, good. That's
He's
all.
also still married to my mom.
Okay.
So she wants to know, do I tell my boyfriend about
So
his dad?
you know this information, but I don't. Are you going to tell me what you know about my dad? You saw my dad fuck a boy.
Oh yeah.
You tell me.
Oh yeah. And I would be like, this is how I'd say it too.
and you should no longer. That guy should not be coaching Penn State either. That's all I got, folks.
Wow. A Sandusky
Yeah.
joke?
Coming out with the Sandusky?
Really? That's nice. Thank you.
Every decade you get.
Yeah, I would do it because I just think that it's abhorrent, that behavior.
Well, let me just ask this then: what is information that you shouldn't divulge that you do know? Then what would be stuff like you don't?
Oh, right.
Like,
That's
Khalyla,
interesting.
what would you feel? Would something that you would find that you would know that maybe you shouldn't say, you shouldn't divulge because it's not helpful? Like for instance,
If
I will tell you this: like I knew a very, very talented oncologist, this doctor at up in Northern California. I shouldn't narrow it down.
Yeah.
And his wife was cheating on him, and we knew for sure. And I said, I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah.
And my brother did, like an idiot. And like that was it. He never
I will
spoke,
never do
spoke
that.
to him again.
I did that one time in my
Never spoke
life,
to
and
him
it
again.
backfired so horribly. And he was able to convince her that he hadn't cheated anyways, and now I look like the homewrecker. So
Are they still together?
yeah,
wow.
with kids, 2 kids now.
Wow.
I tried to tell her what he had done.
Is that a low self-esteem thing? What does somebody stay in a relationship like that?
I don't know. I think that she really believes that I was trying to somehow.
I think there's something where there's like you have a dominant person, and then there's somebody who just refuses to ever become dominant
Yeah.
and just accepts that role, and they live common lies, and those lies continue to go, and the other
There-
person's okay with it.
There are 2 types of people. I think
Don't you
there's
think?
either a
Yeah,
high
yeah.
tall, but an ex of mine, he is such a tolerant person that he just doesn't want to engage in any type of like difficulties. That
So
he
you
would
mean
rather
he
just
avoids
kind of-
conflict?
Yeah, I think Asians do that a lot too. Like
You know what? You're right.
we just kind of put it, brush it under the rug and kind of, hope nothing seeps out.
Well, it's out of politeness.
Yeah, it's polite.
But it's a weird kind of politeness to avoid. I mean, it's the same thing.
I just don't like
When you pressure me to say,
I don't
would,
like
would I lie
confrontation.
for you if you're murdering people? And I go, yeah, sure, if you want me to. You know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but I do think like it's an avoidance of confrontation. But what is that? What's the root to that though? As I do think, and I'll tell you what I really, really feel it is I do feel like it's the same reason the Philippines haven't changed their name from King Philip yet.
Yeah.
It's like they're long suffering. They're so polite to the point that they just suffer.
But there
and
also
you don't have,
is
you know,
an identity to that suffering that I think is detrimental because it turns
I agree.
into that colonial mentality of being always at the mercy of the white man. And,
I totally agree.
Yeah.
and that's what the Philippines is in dire, need of change. Like that's
Well, that's why the corrupt administration to corrupt administration to corrupt administration.
Another one. Give us another one.
Yeah,
Another one?
That's I'm going to say that's a fake one.
It's a fake one. Get it. Give us another one.
This is one, help a guy out here. So I'm going to go right into this because I'm straightforward and I hate beating around the bush. My girlfriend and I used to enjoy having intercourse, and we did it almost every day. But we've been together for 3 years now, and I've gained some weight during that time. Now I feel things have changed, and I feel like she's grossed out about me because of my weight. She gives me a lot of excuses when it comes to the mood. How should I approach the situation?
LA Fitness.
Boom.
That's the guy, like, you ever work on a movie and like, you see like you're standing, gain like, I had to stand and gain 25 pounds in 2 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe it was 2.5 months.
Yeah.
He gained 25. I remember looking, and then by the end of the what the you're my stand-in. And he it was just depression or something.
Now, you have a podcast with your wife, right?
Yes.
What's it called?
See what happens? Which is very, very a common thing that my mother yelled at me. I think a lot of Filipinos. Did your mother see what happens?
Yeah.
You're running around the house. See what happens? You fella. You hurt yourself. See what happens? You broke that. See what happens? Huh? You're crying. See what happens? And it's like, I remember when I was a little kid. There's we were 3 miles away from the house. Somebody twisted an ankle. All of a sudden, you're see what happens. A bit. What are you saying? I'm sorry.
No, but you guys do it every week.
Yeah.
I'm trying to plug it because I want people to listen.
We're every week. See what happens. The podcast. We did it on our own.
Yeah, Rob.
We'd love to join a company.
Rob, I honestly like.
Yeah. Should I? What should I do? I don't know what to do.
What do you mean?
I mean, what should I do with the podcast?
I think
doing it.
First of all,
Yeah.
the key is to constantly do it every week. Just
Yeah, no, we've done it every week.
Good.
For like 4 months now.
For 4 months, right? You're releasing it every week, correct?
Yeah.
Where on?
Just Apple and Spotify.
Yeah.
This is the big stuff. Yeah.
If you have any questions, ask this fucking guy. He's my guy.
Okay. We'll
He has
talk
all the
after.
answers.
All right, we're done.
No, we're not. Right. Well, I wanted to say though, like you're like I think the last of that group of Asians that I wanted to get because I've had Margaret, you know what I mean? And
Remember when she first started stand up in San Francisco?
Really?
She was a young girl, like 18 or 19.
And how old are you then?
I was about 20. I was older. I was 22.
God.
And then she was living in the Richmond at that time. And one time, and she's lovely, but she was like, she came and performed, and I went like, let me write some jokes for you. Let me just take the premises that you have.
Yeah.
Perform jokes. So we went to the coffee shop across the street and just, wrote some jokes for like 5 minutes and just like, this would get to the joke to this and that. Like she wanted to do it and express herself, but she just didn't know the form. And she didn't have that upbringing of like, well, what I had or what you probably had were comedy albums.
Yeah.
And like, your parents said like your dad would laugh at jokes, see TV things. I don't think she had that. I think her parents were real, like, just... right off of the.
Well, I think I had the same thing as she had. I didn't have anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my parents they didn't speak English.
Wow. So what was your entree to the comedic?
Well, my parents made money, so they have HBO, right? And so back in the day, I would watch all those like young comedian specials, right?
Yeah.
The young comedians ones, and I would watch The Tonight Show or whatever. But I mean, we had access to Blockbuster. They would have some specials out, so I would watch all the prior ones.
Oh yeah.
But
how did you make the leap? Did you know somebody who also wanted to do comedy? Did you have a buddy who wanted to do it, or
I was in AA, and I was sharing at an AA meeting, so I was maybe 22 at the time. I had maybe 5 years of sobriety at the time. I was at a place called North Park Men's. It's a men's meeting, probably 400 men. I went up and shared, and every time I would speak, I would destroy, but I wouldn't purposely want to get laughs.
Yeah.
Every time I would talk, people would just laugh. I would explain my day. I can't believe, I would just out there and people would die laughing. And this old man came up to me, and he goes, "Let me talk to you." And so he talked outside, and he goes, "You should do stand up." And I go, I don't know. How do you know how to do that? You should just do it.
Did you ever find yourself going down to a meeting knowing you were going to kill that night? You did, didn't you?
Did it incentivize you to go to more meetings?
Affirmation.
Yeah, you would have
used
gone
to do
whether that
things-
guy told you or not. You were going to go to that.
I
club.
do a thing still today from those early days is like I dropped something once because you have these timers when you're speaking, especially when you're back in the day.
Yeah.
When I'm the 10-minute speaker, so you have to do it because the main speaker does 30 minutes. But at one time, I dropped the watch off the thing.
Yeah.
And I picked it back up. And when I picked it back, and I said, as I came back up, I went, "I'm back." It got a huge laugh. Right? So.
Well, can you imagine? Because like none of those guys are being funny.
Right.
Everybody's lives are falling apart. Everybody can't get it together.
Yeah.
And then
Everybody,
I'm back.
Right.
Everybody's a repeat.
But now.
Loser, and everybody's no.
But now
everybody's losing it, and everybody trying to keep it together, and like they got entertainment for free. Like
Yeah.
world
But now
quality.
every 6 months now, when I speak, I'm doing this. Right. Trying to get that laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm now when I'm speaking, I know how I have a stand-up act in my AA because you can't just do jokes. You have to disguise it to put it in the language of being more real. Oh my god!
Holy shit!
Right? So
you were able to manipulate and figure that out.
Right.
But did you ever think like that stand-up and that laughter was just another addiction for you?
It is one, and I don't think it's healthy. And I think that
I don't think it's healthy. Why don't you think it's healthy? I don't think it's healthy.
Oh my
either.
God, that's a great movie. Somebody who just goes to AA meetings to
So many
get that
movies.
kind of like validation.
Well,
But that's
or
what they did in
addiction to.
Fight Club did that.
Or to get,
yeah.
or maybe to get laid in the sex addicts addiction thing.
Right.
I'm sure somebody's done some lousy movie about that. I'm surprised I haven't.
No, I love doing your show, dude.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you doing it because I know you're getting some shit from somebody telling you not to do it.
Rob.
You gonna cut this part out?
No, who said that? I don't remember who said that.
No, your agent.
Oh, that's right.
But that's okay.
But
you
I
know
did
what,
it
though?
anyway.
Here's why I hate agents.
Okay.
Because I felt like most of the jobs I got were for myself, by myself. And then like when I didn't, when I got these jobs myself, I gave them money, and like they would not get off. They wouldn't answer the phone or avoid me. Like when you're not hot, and all of a sudden they get to go. So I don't know. I also have this, I had this thing about authority, and like those agents kind of represented that to me. And like I remember the first time I ever got a TV show, I went like, I was psyched. I did the pilot, and I was like, oh man, I'm psyched. This is after Saturday Night Live, and I got some show on NBC. And then the agent at the time, Marty Lisek, he was
I know Marty.
He was drunk. And he said to me, "Hey man, this is amazing. It's the most incredible to get a package. It's incredible." And man, I said, "What's a package?" Silence. He sobers up. Well, no, it's a, you don't. And he says to me this: "You don't have to pay me a commission."
Right.
What do you mean I don't have to pay a commission? Yeah, you don't. Well, how do you make money? Silence. Well, what? You own a piece of the show. Well, what if that ends up being more than the 10% I would have paid you?
Right.
Well, yeah, but what if the show doesn't go? And they said, well, yeah, but what if it does? What if you own a piece of the show forever? Then like that could end up being more. How come you didn't mention that to me before?
Wow,
Silence.
you bring that shit up?
Yeah.
I don't say it.
No, but
I see it on the paper. I know it's happening.
After that,
and I just smile and go, "No, I'm happy to be here."
No, like after that, I fucking hated agents, and I know it's not okay. You can't blame everybody for that kind of thing, but like I just felt taken advantage of.
Do you have an agent now?
No.
Manager now?
Yeah.
Okay. Who?
I feel like I'm being taken advantage of by a manager.
Who?
No. Lee Kernis.
I love Lee.
Lovely.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Brillstein, right?
Yeah.
I love.
He's an old guy, and I'd rather would have an older
Will you
guy.
tell Lee I'm being real?
Yeah.
And he knows me well. He does. Ask him. Tell him I said hi.
I will.
I love
I'll
that
talk to him
guy.
tomorrow.
I have a show to do, so I got to get the fuck out of
Oh, you
here.
we got to do it part 2 of this thing.
No, we're gonna do this forever. Are you mind?
It's pretty good.
We could do it forever, you and I. And also, dude, all that stuff, that little honest stuff with that's the kind of stuff that I like listening to anyway.
Oh, good. I mean, I'm more comfortable talking about it now.
I want to
and,
know,
like,
I want to know more about you.
Well, the thing
your
about
life.
the 12-year-old girl things and the 12-year-old girl and like how that came back and how I never really realized until it really to where it happened, where it was at the very end after my father passed away is when it flashed to me, right? And I'm gonna do on like my live
cliffhanger.
show. Yeah, we'll talk about it. But where are you going? The Comedy Store?
Yeah.
Of course you are.
But
right?
let's skip. Listen, Rob.
Yeah.
Your
It's
handles.
see what happens.
Go to his Instagram and his Twitter. What is it? Rob Schneider.
I think it's Rob Schneider.
His handle, right?
Rob Schneider.
Right.
Rob Schneider.
I want to say this right now. If you're at any city and Rob's playing your city, You're not a TigerBelly fan if you don't go see him.
Thank you.
He is so funny, nicest guy. Go say hi to him.
We have fun.
He's the best. You're going to be back on TigerBelly as many times as you want.
You know what we should do next time? Because I'm totally like a scatterbrained idiot. We'll just focus on one thing the whole time.
No,
the Philippines war.
No. I like your
encyclopedia.
Like
You're an encyclopedia.
I love it.
I like it.
Okay.
Give him a round of applause, everybody. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Once again, his handle is I am Rob Schneider. So make sure you follow him there.
Okay, great.
Sure. Appreciation to our delightful sponsors for keeping the lights on here at TigerBelly. Thank you, Postmates, Ridge Wallet, MyBookie, and ExpressVPN. For a limited time, Postmates is giving our listeners $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days. To start your free deliveries, download the Postmates app and use the code BELLY. Get 10% off your front carry wall today by going to ridge.com/slap. That's ridge.com/slap. Use the code SLAP. Join now and MyBookie will double your first deposit. Use the promo code BELLY, mybookie.ag today. You play, you win, you get paid. Protect your online activity today and find out how you can get 3 months of free at expressvpn.com/belly. And make sure you see Bobby's shows. You can go to BobbyLeeLive.com. He has shows in San Antonio, Arlington, Brea, San Francisco, San Diego, all sorts of places. Make sure you see the Slut King live. And once again, you can send us questions to adviceunhelpful@gmail.com. I'm Gilbert. You can follow me at Gilbert's, Khalyla, Calamity K, Bobby at Bobby Lee Live, and George Kimmel at George_Kimmel. Have a good night. Oh, also, guys, make sure you buy our shirts. While they're taking the picture, look at this photo.